reading from the instruction of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Actually, this instruction of Bhagavad Gita as it is, Srila Prabhupada has given the full essence of Bhagavad Gita in the introduction itself. His compassion is so much that if anyone, even if suppose they're not able to read the whole entire Bhagavad Gita, full 18 chapters, if they read the introduction, they should be able to understand Krishna. That is Srila Prabhupada's compassion on us. So reading on, the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita 4.1 to 3, the Lord says, Imam Vishwate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manur Ikshvakave Abravit Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajarashyo Viduhu Sakale Neha Mahata Yogo Nashta Parantapa Sa Evayam Mayate Adya Yoga Prokta Puran Tanaha Bhakto Sime Sakha Cheti Rahasyam Hi Etad Uttamam. Here the Lord informs Arjuna that this system of yoga, the Bhagavad Gita, was first spoken to the sun god, and the sun god explained it to Manu, and Manu explained it to Ikshvaku, and in that way, by disciplic succession, one speaker after another, this yoga system has been coming down. But in the course of time, it has become lost. Consequently, the Lord has to speak it again, this time to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So it's not that Bhagavad Gita was spoken for the first time 5,000 years ago to Arjuna. No, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita has been existing eternally. Krishna spoke this first he spoke it to sun god. He's saying he spoke this knowledge first to the sun god. And the sun god explained it to Manu. Manu is the father of mankind. And so we can see Krishna spoke to sun god. Then sun god is giving to Manu. Then Manu is giving this knowledge to his son Ikshvaku. Like that, from one person to another. It was carefully handled down until at one, it became lost. In due course, the teachings got adulterated. People started putting their own interpretation. So the teachings was lost. So what happens whenever the teachings are lost? Krishna comes again. That's why he says, right? So, what does he say? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttaman srajami yuge yuge. So he says that every time, whenever the religious principles are lost, he comes to establish religious principles. So that's the reason he came again 5,000 years ago, because there were too many demoniac kings. People were misusing their position. So he came to annihilate the demoniac and to protect the devotees and to reestablish the principles of religion. So we have to be confident that Krishna will come. He does come. He always is wanting to take care of us. It's only we who don't want to be with him. He tells Arjuna that he's relating the supreme secret to him because Arjuna is his devotee and his friend. The purport of this is that Bhagavad Gita is a treatise which is especially meant for the devotee of the Lord. There are 3 classes of transcendentalists, namely the Jnani, the Yogi, and the Bhakta, or the impersonalist, the meditator, and the devotee. So Krishna is saying, I'm telling you this knowledge, Arjuna, I'm telling you this because you are my devotee and you are my friend. He says that. And then Prabhupada is saying that there are 3 types of transcendentalists. One is the impersonalists, the Jnanis, who say that the supreme truth is the light. Their knowledge goes up to that the light is the supreme. And then the yogi. The yogi is by meditation, they want to try to reach the Paramatma, the super soul, and that is their perfection. But you see, in both of them are not the perfect aspect. And the bhakta, the devotee. Why the devotee is the perfect aspect? Because he knows completely that, yes, the light is coming from Krishna's body Paramatma, yes, Krishna expands in everyone's heart as Paramatma. And when we have a personal relationship with Krishna, we can be situated in that relationship. We all have experience when we have loving relationships in this world, we feel happy, we feel blissful. We want to give service, we want to make others happy, the people we love. So same, we can have this relationship with Krishna, but if we are sitting in the Brahma Jyoti, we cannot have it. And even with the super soul, there is no interaction, there's no relationship. Sure, we can just see the super soul in the heart, but then there is no exchange, there is no loving exchange. Here the Lord clearly tells Arjuna that he's making him the first receiver of a new parampara, disciplic succession, because the old succession was broken. It was the Lord's wish, therefore, to establish another parampara in the same line of thought that was coming down from the sun god to others. And it was his wish that his teaching be distributed anew by Arjuna. So now Krishna is making Arjuna, he's starting a new disciplic succession, a new parampara with Arjuna. He wanted Arjuna to become the authority in understanding the Bhagavad Gita. So we see that Bhagavad Gita is instructed to Arjuna, especially because Arjuna was a devotee of the Lord, a direct student of Krishna, and his intimate friend. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is best understood by a person who has qualities similar to Arjuna's. That is to say, he must be a devotee in a direct relationship with the Lord. So what can we do if we are not yet devotees? We hear from the devotee, we hear from the parampara system. We hear from a devotee who has heard the Bhagavad Gita from his spiritual master, from his spiritual master, from his spiritual master. And the original speaker is Krishna. As soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he also has a direct relationship with the Lord. That is a very elaborate subject matter. But briefly, it can be stated that a devotee is in a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in one of 5 different ways. So a devotee of Krishna has a direct relationship with Krishna. Imagine if somebody says you have a direct relationship with the president of the X country, will we say, oh, no, I don't want to have relationship. Hey, he's a great man. Why don't you want to have a relationship with him? Similarly, Krishna is the greatest person. And he's saying each of every one of us has a direct relationship in any of the 5 different ways. One may be a devotee in a passive state. Passive state is Shantaras, maybe like Krishna's flute, or Krishna's, or the cows, the peacocks, the deer, the flowers. So like that, Shantaras. But they are devotees of Krishna. Then one may be a devotee in an active state, means Krishna's servants. Krishna's servants, Krishna has many servants. Raktak, and then there's Raktak, then I forget the names. But anyway, he has so many servants. Hanumanji is also a servant of Lord Ramachandra. So one may be a devotee as a friend. So Arjuna is the best example as a friend. And Krishna has so many other friends, Subal, Sridham, Madhumangal. Then one may be a devotee as a parent. Okay, parent means the mood. So now, not that we can become Madhumangal or we can become Subal or Sridham. No, we cannot become anyone else. What we have to do is we have to become our own self. Right now, we have put so many covering on ourselves that we have forgotten who we are. And we are trying to become somebody else. What we have to do is become our own true self, because each of us has an eternal relationship with Krishna. Nobody can change that relationship. Nobody can take that relationship away. And that is self-realization. We have to find out what is our own true relationship with Krishna. So one may be a devotee as a parent. So Krishna has Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai are his parents. None of us can become Nanda Maharaj or Yashoda Mai, but if somebody has that mood as a parent, then they become assistants of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai. They become their assistants. And one may be a devotee as a conjugal lover, means in the ras of the gopis, as a conjugal, as lover and beloved. Now, what is the mood which is there in all these five? All these five have a particular mood, which is there in all these relationships. And that is the mood of a servant. That mood, even if somebody is a parent of Krishna or a lover of Krishna or a friend of Krishna, but the mood of serve, or even neutrality, the mood of service is the most strongest, that I want to serve Krishna. And that's what Lord Chaitanya came to tell us, that Jivera Swarupaya Krishnera Nitya Das. Each and every living entity is eternally a servant of Krishna. In this material world, none of us want to become a servant, because we feel becoming a servant is so degraded. Somebody's going to exploit me. Why should I listen to what somebody else has to say? They won't treat me properly, because that's how we treat others. We want to exploit others. And so that's why we say, no, if I become a servant, somebody will exploit me. But Krishna is not like that. Krishna is the most loving person. And then if we do something to please him, what does he do? He lets us feel the pleasure even more than him. And what is service? What is service actually? Service is a symptom of love. When we love somebody, we want to serve them. Why does a mother unconditionally serve her child? She'll wake up when she has a baby. Nobody has to tell her, but if the child is crying in the middle of the night, she'll get up and she'll try to make the child as comfortable as possible. What is she doing? She's serving the child. Why? Because of service. How the parents, they have children, so they're serving the children. They're taking care of them emotionally, physically, financially. Why? Because of love. So we can see we are serving. One friend is serving another, giving emotional support. Or even if we don't want, we are serving the bosses. We serve if we are working, we serve the boss. So service is there. Each and every one of us is serving. And if we are not serving anyone else, we are serving our own senses. The eyes will say, I want to see this. The ears will say, I want to hear this. The mouth will say, I want to eat this. And then we are doing that. So if we are not serving others, we are serving our senses. So service is what do you say? Is natural to the soul. It's one of the quality of the soul. It's the swadharma of the soul. It's the sanatan dharma of the soul, to serve. As the dharma of the sugar is to be sweet, the dharma of the soul is to serve. And so because we don't want to be the servants, we are here in the material world. And we have created a havoc for ourselves. And that is conditioned life, because we don't want to be who we truly are. So, any questions or comments? No? If no, then we can stop here for today.
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.